We are live with. I guess we didn't have our opening music on
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, welcome to a new episode of NYMLB Talk with your host Rob and Chris. And if you're on YouTube right now, you could hit that follow button. We'd appreciate it. The sub button, the like button, we would love that. If you want to follow us on TikTok, if you want to follow us on TikTok and Twitter/X at NYMLB Talk, you can follow Rob at Armorowski. You can follow myself at CP7NY. Sorry about the little mix up here early on, but anyway, Rob, we don't have a guest tonight. We were supposed to have a guest. He kind of backed out at the last moment, so it's just us.
Hey, that's all right. We haven't done a show just us for a while because we've had all these guests. How you doing, Armand? So just bear with us tonight. We were planning to have a guest on, and in the mix-up, we forgot to put the opening music on. We know how everybody loves that.
Yes.
So anyway, we got a lot to talk about, Chris. So what do you want to start off with?
You know what? I think we got to start off with the Bellinger discussion, right? I mean, we're finding out Cody Bellinger wants at least 7 years from the Yankees, or from anybody really. He's looking for 7 years, and he's looking for $37 million a year. And this is a guy that was traded last year for Cody Poteet and cash from the Cubs to the Yankees. So yeah, he had a really good season with the Yankees, bounced back, all that stuff. But he's been really kind of a mixed bag the last few years since he won that MVP in 2019. So
yeah,
I mean, to start asking for $37.5 million, and when you think about it, Judge only makes $3 million more than that. Is he worth $3 million less than Aaron Judge? I don't think so.
Nah, that's why I think everything's quiet right now, and that's one of the reasons. He's really asking for too much, I feel. So why should the Mets right now pay that? Why should the Yankees pay that? They're going to sit and they're going to wait and see what happens. Yeah, we agree with you, Armand. Cody is not getting that. I mean, that's just insane. Hello, Maria. Yeah. How are you? Thanks for watching. Chris, that's crazy. Think about it.
It is. I think, listen, I'm happy the Yankees aren't giving in and saying, okay, we need you, and here's your 7 years, $37.5 million a year. No, I'm happy they're not giving. I mean, the guy's going to be 31 years old. I'm fine with, listen, if they're stuck at 5 years, the Yankees, if that's their max offer, then fine, just stay right there. But here's the thing, like, you can't wait forever because other guys that you might have to sign are going to be gone, right? So
you're right.
Listen, he's crazy. If Cody gets that, I need to get a day with a super. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you, Armand. I think it's nuts. And the Yankees got to say, here's our final offer, 5 years, 150 or whatever it might be, and then move on to something else. And I think the Mets too got to do the same thing. I mean, we were just talking about just before we jumped on, like, Rob, you mentioned, who are the Met outfielders right now on the roster?
Yeah, well, right now on the roster, there are only 4 outfielders. Okay. Soto, of course, Taylor, Jared Young, and Nick Marabito. Okay. That's not the Mets opening roster outfield for this season. There's no way. So, the Mets are going to make some moves. And they have to, because Taylor can't be your everyday center fielder either. We saw what happened last year. He's great off the bench, great for defensive purposes, but he cannot be your everyday starting center fielder. There's no way that's going to happen. So the Mets are going to make some moves. But now it just seems like everybody's just sitting around waiting to see what's going on. And it's getting closer to spring training, so hopefully things heat up soon, Chris.
Oh, I agree. And I think it will, because, I mean, you still got Kyle Tucker, who's been the main guy this whole time, still out there. And he's still waiting to be signed. So, I mean, it's amazing how he's still out there. I thought by now he would be signed. It's kind of everybody's waiting for the other to sign almost. I believe the Mets
Yeah.
want Tucker more than I think so. He's the better offensive player. Bellinger, obviously, the better defensive player. The thing with Tucker is, especially with the Mets, well, with the Yankees too, but with the Mets, he's going to have to play left field, right? Because right
Yeah.
field is Soto. The Yankees got Judge for at least 2 more years in right field until Stanton is gone, right, in 2 years. So Tucker will have to handle left field in Yankee Stadium, which is a bigger left field than most stadiums, for at least 2 years. With the Mets, maybe more, because who knows how long Soto's going to be in right field. He might eventually move to DH, but that's a whole other issue, right? So, yeah, exactly. He needs more than that, I think. But
Yeah, I think so too.
but that I think that's the discussion. Like maybe these teams don't think he could handle left field, because otherwise, I mean, he's fine. And then the other argument I heard today on MLB Network was that Tucker is not a main guy in the lineup. He's more of that second guy in the lineup.
Yeah.
So that works out good too with the Mets and the Yankees. The Mets have Soto. Soto's the main guy in the lineup. The Yankees obviously got Judge. So I don't see I don't see the problem why you don't want to sign him. The only thing I could think of is they don't think he could handle left field.
Yeah, that's a good reason. If that's what they feel like, that's a problem. But listen, they have to start making some moves, right? Like the Yankees. This is what's crazy. Okay, the Yankees claimed Caleb Ort, right? This is their first major league experience player this offseason. That's crazy,
right? Outside of re-signing guys,
yeah,
he's been there.
That doesn't count.
At first, yeah, right, exactly. It doesn't count. So it doesn't make sense right now. I would think that they're going to add at least another arm, regardless. Starting pitcher, probably starting pitcher, just to add more depth. Because of we've been talking about it all for the past month or two now with the injuries, with Rodon coming back and Cole coming back not right away. They're going to need to add a starter there. I know they added Yarborough, and Blackburn. Blackburn as much as I do. Not a great pitcher, but
hey, Chris, he said he had a lot to say about the Mets clubhouse, so didn't he?
Of course. A lot of players like to do that, right? When they leave, they always have something to say when they leave. They don't say while they're there. They say when they leave. So, yeah, you got to take certain things with a grain of salt. It is what it is.
Yes, you do.
So, but this is what I would do if I'm the Yankees, right? If you go to Bellinger and he wants his 7 years, if he's stuck on that, then move on. For me, what I would do is I would sign Bo Bichette, and I would say, okay, you're going to play short, and then you know what? After this year, Jazz will probably leave as a free agent, and then you can move to second, and then shortstop. You got the Yankees' best prospect, who's quote unquote supposedly untouchable. You could put him at short, right? Okay. Now for this year, though, Bichette short, Jazz at second, great. Left field. Now you got Now you got a hole in left field, obviously. So now you got Spencer Jones, and you got Jason Dominguez as possibilities. Use one as trade bait to get yourself another pitcher, whether it's a bullpen guy or a starter. That's part of the package, obviously. And then the other guy you could use in a what do you call it? Get a right-handed hitting outfielder like Austin Hayes, for example, or even Harrison Bader. One of those guys. Put them out there, and you got a righty-lefty combination in left field. Just do that, and just tell Bellinger, adios. We're not paying you $37.5 million. We're not giving you 7 years. That would be my Yankee plan. But it looks like now Bichette's going to Philly.
That's what it looks like, but you never know. I mean, that's the talk. All right, but does Bellinger seem to be what Alonso was last offseason to you? That nothing's happened so far. Do you think that it has that same feel to you, or do you just think he wants all this money and Blackbone? Yes, he wants all this money, and teams don't want to pay that much for Bellinger.
Yeah, I'll just add Armand. I'm thinking Volpe, if he comes back, he could be like the utility guy off the bench, right? He could probably play short. He could probably play second for you. He's that backup guy. But then you also got what's his name? The shortstop they got from Tampa last year, who they like a lot too. So
Uh,
there are, like, if they do get Bichette, there are options like with
right.
Volpe or with Caballero. That's the other guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
So you got
Caballero.
those two guys, or another option too. Not that I want them to do this, but you move Jazz to third and then trade McMahon. But I really don't. I don't want to see that either, because Jazz wasn't great at third. So, but that would be, those are the options you got there. But now, all right, Rob, let's get back to Bellinger. Um, I listen. What was the question? You want
It's just like Bellinger last year, Alonso, the same thing. You didn't hear anything till the
right?
Mets just signed him for to that contract that he opted out of. Like, do you have a feel with Bellinger like that too? That's going on.
Well, I mean, all you hear is that Bellinger wants to be a Yankee, right? I mean, but then again, we heard that last year with Soto, and we know what happened
Yeah,
there. But that's all we're hearing, right? Bellinger wants to be a Yankee, he wants to stay a Yankee. Obviously, if he wants to be a Yankee, then he's got to lower his price a little bit. And obviously, no one else has given him that price, because otherwise he would have probably got signed already. So I think if he really wants to be a Yankee, drop your, the price a little bit, at least down to 5 years or maybe 6. Maybe the Yankees go 5 years with a 6-year option somehow, with incentives or whatever, figure it out. But
yeah,
right now, I mean, it's not looking good, because, and to me, like, why? Here's the other thing too. When I think about the Mets, like, the Mets signed Juan Soto last year, $50 million. This year, they're letting everybody walk out the door, right? Diaz and Alonso, fine. But why aren't you signing guys that you need? Like, you just mentioned, like, they need an outfielder for
yeah,
sure, right? They need, like, Bellinger would be perfect, because he could also play first too, and you kind of need a first baseman too, because, all right, Polanco's there, but the
yeah.
guy's never played first base, so we don't know. The guy could be a Gold Glove at first base. I don't know, but he's never played there. Why are the Mets doing this? Why are the Yankees doing this? But why are the Mets doing this too?
Yeah, I mean, we've said this a million times. They need protection for Soto, or else
That
Soto is
too.
just going to walk. I don't know. I'm also getting a feeling that somehow Harrison Bader ends up back as a New York Met. I'm just getting that feeling, because that to me is like one of Stern's type move, right?
Yeah.
So something tells me you might be seeing Bader, which I wouldn't mind, because I love the guy's defense, and he hit great for the Mets in 2024, and last year going in the stretch, he was a plus for the Phillies in that stretch run.
Yeah. He was perfect. I mean, we said it the day he got traded. I think we talked about it and said perfect fit for Philly is Harrison Bader. Like, he fits Philly exactly what they needed. It was just a perfect match. Armand Alonso had the qualifying offer, which hurt his
Right.
market, which is correct. And then Bellinger does not. So maybe he has limited his market. Why know the teams are in on him? Yeah. So I don't know. It's strange. I think it's just that Bellinger is asking for so much. And we're talking about a guy who really, like, yeah, he had a good season last year, but, for the most part, the last 6 years have been kind of a mixed bag. It's been up and down. I mean, we're talking about a guy who batted in 2021. This is how bad he got with the Dodgers. He batted 165 in 2021. 165. That is
That's
horrendous.
That is horrendous. And we remember everyone was saying he's finished, is Bellinger
Yeah.
finished? If you remember that too. And the Yankees got him for nothing, really.
Yeah. So I mean, he bounced back with the Cubs. He had a good bounce back season, his first one there. Then the next year, 2024, not great. And that's why the Yankees got him for basically nothing. They basically got him for Cody Poteet and some
Yeah.
cash. So I don't understand. where you go from that to wanting a 7-year, 200 and I don't know. What are we talking about? 200 million, seven
like
times
250 million around
something like
there.
that. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, let's put it this way. Boris is his agent, right? So there's your answer to something right there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
how.
about it.
And you said you keep hearing he wants to stay. He wants to be a Yankee. He wants to stay with the Yankees. Now he wants to be whoever's going to pay him that much money. All right, just like Soto. That's who.
Right.
That's where he wants to play. If the Rays said they would give him the money that he wants, guess where he'd want to be? Tampa.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
100%. And that's saying that about Soto too. If Tampa's, said here's $900 million. Guess what?
Oh, yeah.
He'd be a Tampa Bay Ray right now, and this is the best thing for my family, or whatever the hell he said when he signed with the Mets, right? So, and listen, I'm not faulting them for taking the most money. Me, you, and everybody else out there would be going for the most money. It's as simple as that. So I get it, but there's also just being, honest with yourself and honest with everything. Like, okay, maybe you don't deserve 7 years at $37 million a year when, you're a good defensive player. You can play any outfield position very well. You can play first base very well. That's great. But you know what? I could get somebody who could probably do that for me for a lot less, so, and who's probably a lot younger as well.
Definitely.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And I think Bader, listen, I could see Bader ended up with the Yankees too, right? He could be that right-handed, partner with either Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez out in left field, or could be the backup center field. Depends on what he's looking for. And because he hasn't been signed yet either. So, so, I mean, it's just really interesting. And Bo Bichette is still out there. Like, all these prime free agent players are still free agents. And we're in the middle of January right now. We're just over a month away from catchers and pitchers, right?
Reporting,
showing up for spring training. Right? It's like the 18th or 14th, right? Right around there. They usually start coming down to spring training. So
so team, listen, they have to start making moves. But look who's been making moves. The Toronto Blue Jays. They tasted it. They came so close last year to win the World Series. They probably should have won the World Series over the Dodgers, okay?
Yeah.
That's how close it was. And they're making the moves. They're doing what they have to do to get back in that position. They're signing people. And meanwhile, the Mets and Yankees are just sitting on their hands right now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is. It's unbelievable. And I, as a Yankee fan, I'm not used to this. I'm used to the Yankees being aggressive. And you're, with Cohen, but now we're going to start. Here's the other thing. Did you hear about Cohen possibly now? He's not a Met fan. He's really just a baseball fan more, or possibly even more of a Yankee fan. His wife is the Met fan. Like, why? Like, who? Listen, he bought the Mets. Guess what? If you buy a team, you're a fan of that team, right? You don't just buy a team and not be a fan of that team. You want to see them win. You want to see them win. You want to see them win and make you money. So that he's obviously rooting for the Mets.
It's so stupid. I can't listen. I can't take some of this stuff that's out there on social media. What these people come up with is just insane. It's crazy. Yeah, all of a sudden his wife's the Met fan. But
come on,
you heard all stories about him being a Met fan since he was a kid. So it's just crazy nonsense. See, the thing that happened was he got the casino. He got it approved, and it coincides at the same time all this crap is happening. So now that just gives everybody who's pissed off about what went on with Diaz, Alonso, Nimmo some fuel to say all he just wanted to get the casino, and now that he got the casino, the heck with the Mets, he got the casino. Don't you listen? If the casino is going to be next to Citi Field, don't you want the Mets to win?
Right. Exactly. Real
You
quick
know,
before we
yeah,
continue, John, who was on Monday with us, John D. Acquisto, told us about his new book, and I just wanted to
yeah,
share it real quick again.
good.
That's it right there, and then up in the corner of the screen, that QR code. If you take a picture of that, that takes you directly to the book. He's got 2 books. He's got that one, and he's got the baseball book out. So if you want to purchase both books or just one, you're right there. So this is just it. We wanted to put it out there for you guys just to remind you about the book. Sounded really good the way he was
Yeah,
describing it. And if you read the description, it sounds really awesome. So check it out. And remember that code right up there in the corner takes you directly to it. So just take a picture of it and it'll take you right there. So
yeah, definitely. You support John. Listen, he's great. He loves the show. I actually today I just got Fastball John, his baseball book arrived, so I'm gonna check that out over the weekend. So yeah, just it would be great if you guys support him and buy his book.
all right, I'm going to catch up to some of these. John Armand is saying John Heyman reported that Cohen is letting Stearns run the show and has a budget of 340 to 350 million. But if there's an opportunity, Cohen would allow Stearns to blow through it.
I read that too. Yes,
I think there's an opportunity, right, with Bellinger, Tucker. So I guess they're not opportunities that he wants to take. And he also wrote a Red Sox podcast on WEEI made a mock 3-team trade. The Mets get Jarren Duran and right-handed pitcher Jordan Leisure from the White Sox. Boston would get Jonah Tong and Kyle Teal. Kyle Teal was the guy who went to the White Sox in the Crochet trade, I believe. And the White Sox would get Brett Beatty and Christian Scott. So the Mets would give up Beatty, Scott, and Tong, and they would end up with Duran and Jordan Leisure. What do you think of that, Rob?
Me, you know what?
Here's your outfielder.
Yeah, that's true. But there's other moves I'd rather see before that one. That doesn't excite me.
Yeah, I like Duran, but you know, do you want a little more power, a little bit more, right? Because you need that as well.
Yes.
Here's Dan. Dan saying, Chris, is there any players in the minor league system? If he means the Mets are loaded and they're ready to make trades, right? So they could definitely make trades with theirs.
I think he's talking about the Yankees, though, Chris.
I think they can. I think they can make a move with some of their guys. I think the only person they've ever said is an untouchable has been George Lombard, the shortstop that they have. And I would think he's going to be our guy in 2027, starting shortstop if he's not traded. But other than that, they got a lot of pitching prospects that they could use to trade. Otherwise, I think we're going to see a couple of these guys up this year make some kind of an impact, whether it's in the bullpen or hopefully not in the rotation. That means a lot of guys are getting hurt. So possibly we'll see it. But I think in spring training, to keep your eye out on some of these guys for sure.
Well, what was that trade we saw yesterday for Heel, the Mets and Yankees? I forgot what trade that was. Do you remember, Chris?
Heel for Vientos.
Oh, yeah.
But the Mets, we're sending Rob to that casino to win all of Cohen's money, and Rob could buy the Mets. There you go. I like that.
Yeah. I like that too.
That means we'd have a true Met fan owning the Mets, not a guy who's parading around as a Met fan and he's really some other. No, but listen, even if he wasn't a Met fan before he bought the Mets, after he bought the Mets, he became a Mets fan. So let's leave it at that. He's rooting for the Mets. He wants them to win. I don't think he wants to. Why would he want his investment to lose? Right? This guy wants to win in everything. Right? So it doesn't make sense.
You can't listen to any of that crap.
All right, Tommy Bennett, we had him on, right? Do the Mets make a move for Freddie Peralta? Stearns is familiar with him and could have the financial backing to pay him beyond 2026. I agree. I think that would be a good move. And like I just said, they have the prospects to make the move. They could definitely make it without a doubt. So what do you think about that, Rob?
Yeah, well, we talked about that before. I would like that. And like you said, the Mets definitely have the prospects. The Mets farm club is loaded, but they're also loaded right now with ready to play major league players, right? They have so many players that they could afford to move some. All right. They could move one of the three kids. Not McLean. No way do I want to see him go. I've said that a ton of times. But
I think the only way he gets traded is possibly for Skubal.
yeah,
That's the only way.
Yes, and I agree with you there.
We'll get into that. We're going to get into that in a few minutes with Skubal.
Okay. All right. We will. But yeah, Freddie Peralta, I would not mind seeing that. Definitely.
The deal that does not make sense because who plays third for the Mets? That was the one from before with Beatty in that trade. Maybe Vientos becomes the third baseman then. I think he's bound to bounce back offensively. That's my bounce back guy. For
you think so? I think you might be right there. But remember, Bregman's still out there too. Yeah. Probably it looks like he might be re-signing with the Red Sox. But,
all right, Armand's got a deal for us.
All right, Armand. What is your Mets Yankee trade? Okay.
Mets get Dominguez. Yankees get David Peterson. Peterson free agent after the season is making $8 million, and the Mets get their center fielder. I'm not totally against it. I'll be honest, but if I was the Mets, I don't know if I'd be that inclined, basically, to put him in center field. He's not very good defensively. I don't know. That's my only question mark for you guys. But if I'm the Yankees, would I do that? You know what? I would think about it.
Dominguez though. Listen, if his fielding isn't, remember they want great fielding, right? That's one of the reasons they traded.
That's why I don't think they would do it.
Yeah,
I don't know if they would.
So I don't think so, but that's pretty interesting, Armand.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad because both teams are fixing their two holes that they have. Do the Mets hold out for Skubal before okay? All right, so let's get to this, right?
All right, let's get to it.
All right, the arbitration hearing, right, came out for Skubal. He's asking for what, $32 million, and the Tigers are offering 19. The largest arbitration gap in history. Obviously, I think Detroit's got the nerve to offer this guy back-to-back Cy Young $19 million. I think that's ridiculous. So he should get the $32 million easily, I think.
I think so.
But this does, we'll get to the question now. I think this does open it up to be traded because he has to be taking this as an insult. I mean, a guy just he's back-to-back Cy Youngs, and now you're offering me $19 million? Like,
what an insult.
Right. What do you think, Rob? Like, what's going on here?
Listen, that's a big insult. And listen, and Boris is his agent too. So Boris is going to feed him stuff in his ears like, you know what? They're not showing you the love. You 2 Cy Young awards, and this is what they're offering you. He's going to go sour on Detroit. That's definite. Here's the thing. Of course, I would love to see the Mets get Skubal. And listen, they need him this year. The problem is if they trade a bunch of prospects and he's a free agent, he's a 1-year rental. Do the Mets do that, or do they wait till he's a free agent? I would like to see the Mets trade for him, but get a deal done with him before before free agency, especially since we don't know what's going on with the lockout, right? So maybe that gives him incentive to sign with the Mets. If the Mets trade for him, maybe that gives them incentive to sign before the end of the season because we don't know what's going on with that lockout. What do you think?
That definitely could be. I'm right with you on that. Just to hear Armand saying Framber Valdez made $18 million last year in arbitration. So you're telling me this guy's worth only $1 million more than Framber Valdez? Are they insane? Like,
that's a joke.
How do you do that? Right. So now, like, right off the bat, the Tigers have no shot at signing him past this year, right? So let's get that out there. So if you have that mentality, like you don't want to pay this guy, right? I think it's time that you trade him now. Trade him now. Like we've been saying this for a while, right? Trade him now, get a boatload of prospects or wherever your package is going to be. But at least now you still have that opportunity to sign other players. You could still sign another pitcher to replace him or 2 pitchers to replace him because that's what it's going to take. But I mean, do something. February 1st, 2024, Corbin Burns was traded to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think this brings out an even bigger chance of him being traded. I really do. And the Mets should be first in line, offering, like Mickey said famously back all the way in like October when we asked him, he was like, I give up everybody. So he should be right.
Yeah, no. Mickey Callaway said, I would give away whoever I would have to get Schoolball, because prospect is just that. It's a prospect. It's a lottery ticket. We know what Schoolball is. We already hit the lottery with him. So,
yeah, exactly. So I think it's crazy. Largest contract the Tigers have handed out since Mike Lilich passed away was Javier Baez.
Yeah,
that one
Baez
didn't exactly work out well. You pony up to pay the man who's put you on the playoff map. 100%. The guy is an ace, arguably the best pitcher in baseball, right? I mean, yeah, he's not as young as as Paul Skeens is, but he's an ace. He's exactly what the Mets need right now. And he's the guy you give up if you have to. You give up Nolan McLean. I know no Met fan wants to give him up, but he's the one guy. If you're going to move him in a trade, it would be for that guy, because that guy is the ace. He is the guy.
Yeah, but
yep.
Yes, I saw that today too. Mets farm system 7th. Chris, though, but like I said, if you're going to trade McLean, you have to make every effort to sign Skubal during the season so that you didn't just waste McLean. That's how I feel, and like I said, I also feel because of the lockout that may give him incentive to sign during the season. I don't want to hear, I hate when they say, you know what, we're going to play this season and I don't want to be bothered talking about a contract. All right. Give me a break. I don't want to hear that crap.
Listen,
right. Do you like hearing that?
Yeah. If you trade for Skubal, I'm sure Stearns is going to be trying to work out a deal with this guy. Right. You didn't give up whatever they're going to have to give up. They're going to have to give up, those 3 guys, maybe 2 out of the 3, and a couple of the batters, and who else, right? Peters, I don't know anybody, but after you give up all that, I'm going to be like, all right, let's sit down and talk. What do you want, right? So
because right now, if you're looking at the Mets pitching, right, you got Holmes, you got Minaya. We don't know what we're going to get with Minaya. Is he going to come back and have a good year? We don't know. McLean. Yes, we want to hold on to him. But then, Tyler McGill and Peterson and Senga. Okay, Senga, he's another one. We don't know what we're going to get with him. He gets injured too much, so we don't know. And then, of course, you got Sprout and Tong. So we got to see what happens. The Mets bullpen, even though they lost Diaz, and that was a big loss, but he didn't want to come back. He wanted to go to LA. We know that. He didn't give the Mets a chance to even counter the offer, add more, whatever. But, signing Weaver, Williams, at least you have strength in this bullpen. Brooks Riley and AJ Minter when he's healthy, Reed Garrett and Brazobar. So right now it's all right. They need to get another piece for that bullpen, I feel, but at least if this is what you have to go with, you'll be all right. What do you think, Chris?
I totally agree. Listen, and we always say it, and we hear it all the time in Major League Baseball. You never have enough pitching, right?
Right.
So I don't think any team has got enough in pitching. Like I know the Yankees need, I would say, another bullpen arm, right? Because we lost Weaver and Williams, and we're just picking up scraps to replace those guys. As bad as they pitched, Williams and Weaver last year, we still, expected them to pitch so much better. So, and we also lost Mark Leiter Jr., which is not the end of the world either. But you know what? You miss these guys, like you lose those guys, you got to replace them. And right now they haven't really replaced them. So I'm expecting another arm or two. They picked up Ort from the Astros. He was on waivers or whatever. So not a big pickup. But right now, the Yankees got a lot of work to do. So do the Mets, and we've been sitting here for the past month or so, kind of waiting for them to be a little more busier. But I just want to quickly, Tommy, thank you, man. Reposting the stream. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate it, man. We had him on a month or two ago, and he came on and talked to some Red Sox. We'll be having you on again, Tommy. Once we get closer to the season starting, we'll get like a whole division on and start, previewing this season a little bit. So we'll definitely have you on again for sure.
Looking forward to that. Chris, I just want to bring up something for you, right? We're talking about pitching and how the Mets and Yankees are quiet. The Blue Jays signed Okamoto, right?
Mm-hmm.
For 4 years, $60 million, no opt-outs. What do you think about that? Like, how did Toronto get him, and the Mets and Yankees didn't hear boo about this?
I know. It's unbelievable, and it doesn't sound like that much of a thing, right? 4 years, $60 million. I mean, that doesn't seem like much for a guy who could play first and third for you, have some power from the right-hand side. Exactly what both our teams need, not just the Yankees. I think the Mets need a good right-handed bat too. So,
and sorry, I meant to say batter. I said pitcher. So, I just don't understand why you didn't hear anything with the Mets and Yankees about that, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought possibly the Yankees, but you know what? When they got Ryan McMahon at third, they got Rice at first. So maybe the guy wouldn't get every day at bats. So maybe that's what maybe that's what he wants, more every day at bats. Maybe he's going to get him in Toronto. He's not going to get it at first, right? With Vladdy there. So maybe he gets it more there than he will in New York, either New York. But I figured maybe the Mets too, because the Mets could have played him at first. I mean, they got Polanco playing first base. I don't know if he's the answer. There's got to be someone else out there. It's 4 years.
We know the posting. We know the posting. But that shouldn't matter to the Mets or the Yankees if Toronto could pull it off. All right.
Right. It's not that much.
He's 29, and listen, he was in Japan. He played for the Giants, and he was a slugger, right? So I don't know. I feel the Mets could have used him in the outfield. I mean, the Mets could have used his bat.
Yeah, absolutely. You got first. You really got kind of an opening at first still, right? You're counting on a guy, Polanco, who's never played first. I know he worked in practice at first base last year. They said he's been working at first. That's great, but he still hasn't played a game at first base, right? So he's limited in his experience at first. So I mean, is that the guy that you're going to start at first base every game?
They said I don't know. They said he was taking a lot of infield at first base in Seattle, right? Last year.
That's great that he was practice, but that's practice. You know that.
I know that.
That means nothing.
And we're gonna have a couple of announcements. What the reason, like for the last couple of minutes, I've seen like I've been out of it is because I actually have somebody texting me who wants to come on the show, and it's a pretty decent name. So I just had to let them know that we're doing the show now. But we have a bunch of really good guests coming up. So anyway, I just told them we're doing the show.
And the best way to know when they're coming on is if you're on YouTube, hit that sub button, and you will get and hit the notify button, the little bell. Hit that and you'll get notified whenever we come on and all that stuff. So, but yeah, we got a lot of guests coming up soon. So keep your eye out for that, and we'll let you guys know as well.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm done with
it's okay. But I think, listen, I think with the free agency, everybody's waiting for, I think, Tucker to make, to finally sign, or for Bellinger to sign. And then, like all these other guys, those next level guys are going to fall. So let's hope that happens. I mean, we hear Bichette probably going to Philly now, right? Because he was close with Mattingly. Mattingly's the bench coach there now. So that'll be, and if he signs there, you might see them move a couple of guys, right? Because, if he plays second base, or is he going to play third there? Trey Turner's at short. You got Bryson Scott at second. You got Alec Boehm at third. Where is Bichette going to fit if he does go there? So
they'll fit him. And
yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about that. How do you feel about Mattingly being the bench coach for the Philadelphia Phillies?
Well, I'll have to say I like it better than him being the bench coach in Toronto. I'd
Okay.
still rather him be the bench coach at Yankee Stadium. I'd rather him be, back home with the Yankees. But I mean, it's a little disappointing not to see him with the Yankees anymore, but I don't get it. If I'm the Yankees, he would be the first guy I would have called this year, especially with to get a player on opt-out deals. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's.
I think with getting back to Mattingly, for me, he would have been the first guy to call to be my bench coach, first base coach, something, because now you got Ben Rice, who's this emerging star on the team.
Yeah.
He's going to start playing first base this year, right? Like they're all in on him playing first base. Why not bring in Mattingly to be like his mentor for first base? I mean, you don't get much better than Don Mattingly at first base to mentor you. So I would have loved to have seen that, but it didn't happen. So listen, Philly's great. His son is the GM, right? For the something, right? With the Phillies.
Yeah,
so
for the Phillies. That's why he joined the Phillies, because of his son. But you said, and I think that would have been a great fit for the Yankees if he was the bench coach, because you really don't want him as a manager, right, Chris? Because you don't want his legacy to get screwed up if the Yankees don't win.
Yeah.
Right. So if he's on the bench, at least, he's with the Yankees, and that wouldn't happen. But something tells me if he was a bench coach on the Yankees and they finally got rid of Boone, he might he might be the manager. So there goes that theory.
Yeah, and I think the added pressure too, if Boone, has Mattingly right next to him every game, I think there would be a lot of pressure, a lot of heat on Boone, right? So, because anytime, if they got into a slump or something like that, he would hear the boo birds. He hears them anyway, Aaron Boone, so it doesn't matter. But if he really started to hear it, then of course the Mattingly chance would start. And so I get it in that sense, but it still hurts me not to see Mattingly in pinstripes. But Philly is a lot better than seeing him in Toronto. I know not for you, but for me, it's a lot better to see him there than in Toronto.
Yeah, well, not for me, but listen, unless he has a bat in his hand, it doesn't bother me that much.
Right? Yeah, he's just a bench coach. He's not killing you guys. Trust me. Dan saying he would have been a great batting coach. 100% agree.
Yeah.
I listen. For me, Mattingly can't do any wrong, so he could do anything for the Yankees. But yeah, batting coach he was already. I would not mind him at all.
All right, Chris. Oh, yeah. And he hires his
dad. One move, and he hired his dad. Yeah.
Hey, not a bad move, though, right?
No, not bad.
Don Mattingly. All right, we got to get, and this show is flying by as usual, but we have to get to something with Rob Manfred, right? What he was on with Carton on WFAN, right? And he said a bunch of really, crazy things that we don't want to see happen. So, Chris, let's talk about this. He said he was thinking about the possibility of a split season and an in-season tournament.
That's awful. I'm sorry. I would absolutely hate that idea if that happened. I know it. I don't know if it works or it doesn't work in the NBA. I know they're doing it. I don't like it in the NBA. I think it's stupid. So I would not want it. To me, I don't know. I mean, are you taking away games from the regular season to play these games? How are you going to fit, all these extra games in? Or are they going to stop it in the middle of are they going to stop the regular season and do like I don't know. I have no idea. To me, whatever way it goes, it ain't going to make sense. So,
Chris, it's stupid. Listen to me. It's stupid. Why?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It cheapens the World Series then. I mean,
right.
What are you going to do? Oh, the Yankees are the in-season tournament champion of 2028. Who cares? It's
Right.
stupid. It's stupid.
Are you going
I
to
do
raise a
not
banner?
want
Are you putting up a banner on your, in your stadium?
do,
Like, hey, we
do
won
they
the
yeah.
in
Do they get
season.
rings? Do we have a ring ceremony?
Right.
It's
Come on.
stupid. Major League Baseball does not need any of these stupid gimmicks. Just play baseball. All right. It's too many, and Manfred said he's probably going to retire in 2029. I can't wait. It can't get
Oh,
here fast
that can't
enough to
come. Yeah,
get
that can't
this.
come soon enough.
Yeah. Get this guy out of here.
Can we
What is
pay him to go earlier? Can they can we get together? Can we do
yeah,
a GoFundMe page and get something set up so we could get him out of here sooner? That would be great.
it's who need what is this? Listen, you have the All-Star game, that's the mid-season classic. We don't
I
need
don't.
an in-season tournament. It's like spring training. Who cares?
I agree. I absolutely nobody cares. I can't see that being interesting or any fans being interested in it. Like the one thing he did say that made sense to me was the free agency signing period. Like with the
Okay.
having football and everything else, like
Yeah.
have it start in December, like December 1st or something, and let it run to December, whatever he said, the 23rd, the 24th, whatever it was. Like I like that. So this way you
Me
got
too.
3 weeks to sign your guys, right? So you got 3 weeks. It's going to be crazy. Those 3 weeks would be great. Every day we'd hear, oh, this guy signed, that guy signed. It would go right down to the end. I mean, but it would be 3 weeks. It wouldn't be what we're dealing with now. Like every year, it's like, oh, we're waiting until like November, December, January. We're in the middle of January, and all the top guys are basically still out there. Or a lot of top guys are still out there. Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, Bellinger is still out there. All the pitchers that are still out there, right? Valdez is still out there. So, like, I think that would be a really good thing.
Yeah,
So
that's the one. Yeah, that's the one good thing he said.
That and that he's leaving in 2020.
Yeah, I think that's even better. No, I
Yes.
do agree
Yeah.
with that, but fewer regular season games for an in-season tournament just makes no sense. We have other stuff. We have the World Baseball Classic coming up. We don't need all these other gimmicks. Yeah. We don't need a split season. We don't need like the Knicks won the, what do you even call it in basketball? The mid-season tournament, right?
Whatever.
Does anybody care? Do Knicks fans even care?
I don't think so. I doubt it. You know what I mean? And you know what? Baseball has the WBC. I think that's awesome. I can't wait to see it in March. We talked about it the last time we were looking at the roster for Team USA. I mean, I can't wait for that. But no, I don't want an in-season tournament. I think that's going to be so stupid. I mean, just let it be. Like, fix other things about the game if you want to, but why are we adding stuff? And and then he also mentioned about expansion, right? They can expand 2 more. He wants to get 2 more teams in before he retires. Okay. Like I don't think I don't think Major League Baseball needs 2 more teams.
No,
but
probably not.
Right. But you know what? We're going to get it. So I think it is what it is. So we're going to get to 2 teams. We know that's coming. Is that owners would wait until the final days for his players to sign? Yeah, maybe. But you know what? It happens in other sports, and they sign right away, right? We've seen football and hockey, basketball, like they sign right away. So it could go both ways. I'm sure certain guys are going to go right down to the wire for sure. But listen, if you want Kyle Tucker, are you going to wait until the very end to let someone else step in at the very end or even before and offer him a big contract? You want to be the first team to call him and say, okay, I'll give you, this is what I'm going to give you. This is what you want. Okay, I'll give you. I'm not going to wait till the last day. So I kind of like it. I think it could go. I think you're right in a way, Armand. I think certain players will have to wait to the very end. But I think the top of the food chain, those top guys, they're going to get signed right away.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, because by now we want to know how our team is set going into spring training. You want them all together in spring training. it's free agency period in Major League Baseball is really, really long. It's the whole off season. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, it's crazy. Another thing that he said about realignment with the expansion is that he wouldn't want to see the Mets and Yankees in the same division. Actually, he wouldn't want to see the teams from the same city in the same division. But if they break up, I don't want them to get rid of the American League and National League. I definitely do not want to see that, Chris. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. I like tradition. I like the AL. I like the National League too. I like that they have that. Hopefully that stays, but I could definitely see them, doing something where they get rid of it, and then it's kind of like what we see in the other sports, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, stuff like that. I could see something like that. I hope they don't go that way, but I mean, it's probably going to happen, but I hope we don't see it. Armand saying I think a trade deadline makes more sense than a free agent deadline. He's saying from December 1st to the 20th. Yeah, I guess that could work, but yeah, I mean, trades are open, right, the whole time, and then there's obviously the trade deadline during the season in what is it, August 1st now or July 31st, whatever it is, right?
Right.
So yeah, I guess that would work too. A trade deadline during the off season. That only in those 20 days you can make moves. So I kind of like it.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm with you. Let's maybe they should just try a free agent deadline and see how it works. Yeah, well, yeah, Joe Dell, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, of course.
Of course, yeah. That's all. Listen,
course.
that's all you want as fans. You want your team to win championships. You want them to, make moves to become, the better teams and stuff like that. So I'm with you for sure.
Me too. All right, Chris, we got to get to speaking of free agents, all right, really something stupid. Max Kepler, all right? We have to talk about this. We got like 8 minutes left for this show, so we got to talk about this. Chris, what is he thinking?
I don't know. To me, you know what? I think he was thinking, hey, if I take steroids, I'm going to have a really good year, and I in my free agency year, and I'm going to hit really well, and I'm going to cash in on this big year. So I think that's what he was hoping to do, but that didn't happen last year. Max Kepler, he took steroids, I guess. He's tested positive, but look at his numbers. Last year he batted .216, 18 home runs and 52 RBIs. This is in a ballpark where the ball flies out of at Citizen Bank, right, in Philly.
Right.
So I don't understand that.
He had 90 hits, Chris. That's it. So I don't know what he was taking.
Get rid of what changed the qualifying offer. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I'm sure the players would love that, because when you're attached to qualifying offer, we see what it does. Like we were talking about it earlier with Alonso, it messed up his market and all that. And listen, all these guys that have the qualifying offer still attached. We kind of talked about it a couple of weeks ago. That's probably impacting, how teams are. Like Zach Gallen has a qualifying offer. Valdez has one.
Yeah.
Woodruff, and all those guys are still out there, and they have the qualifying offer attached to them. So it makes sense.
But anyway, getting back to Kepler, right? So he gets suspended for using PEDs, right? And and not only does he have not such a great year, but he screws up his free agency now. And if he signs with a team, and he's suspended for 80 games, when he signs, if he signs, he's ineligible for postseason. So where did it get him? It got him. It's so stupid. Do they think they're not going to get caught? This is what is the thinking? Do they think they're not going to get caught? Chris, I don't understand this.
I know. I guess, the trainers or whoever they're working with say, don't worry about it. They're not, this is undetected by their tests or something like that. Or whatever, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going through their head. I mean, obviously, listen, these steroids that he was taking, didn't work. So I think, you know what? I think Bonds should be calling up all the Hall of Fame voters and say, look, that guy took steroids and look at his numbers. They did nothing. So steroids did nothing for me too. So, right. All the guys that took steroids should be calling the Hall of Fame voters and say, listen, it's done nothing for you. A-Rod should say that too. But all joking aside, yeah, it's just really stupid. Only starts when he signs. Right. If he does, that's
that's right.
The Rockies, I was thinking that too. And that would be a smart move for him because let him go there, play a half a season because that's all he's going to get. You don't have to worry about making the playoffs with them anyway. No one's going to trade for you to make the playoffs. So, you know what? Maybe you put up big numbers in Colorado for the one and just sign a 1-year deal to kind of prove it that, that was just a bad year and maybe he can bounce back.
Chris, if he hit 216 being on steroids, what's he going to hit not taking steroids? 125?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
It's just crazy. I don't understand why these guys risk things like we talked about with John on Monday's show with the gambling, right? Those guys too. What are they thinking?
I don't know. I just think they have the attitude that, hey, I'm not going to get caught, or if I do get caught, like I'll get out of it. I got a lot of money. I'll figure it out, or my lawyer will figure it out. But I think with Kepler, I think it's more that I'm sure his trainer, that whoever he got this stuff from, told him, don't worry about it. I have a good masking agent or whatever they call it, and nobody's going to find out. You won't test positive. I don't know. It's just
the minute I hear that, though, I'm going to say to myself, you know what? If A-Rod got caught, right? If Cano got caught, and I could just go down the list. If they got caught, I'm going to get caught. All right. That's what's going to happen. And Cano got caught twice. So he's another one. Listen, another guy who ruined his legacy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All of them, right? And you're talking about guys that were going to go to the Hall of Fame, right? A-Rod and Cano, Manny Ramirez, Sammy Sosa, McGuire, all these guys would have went to the Hall of Fame, but they took steroids. So now you're not going to go. And listen, how much did it help? We don't know. We're never going to know exactly how much it helped these players, right? We could say it helped them get 100 more home runs during their career, 200. Like, who knows? We don't know. Like, there's no scientific example of this, so it really doesn't matter. And for Kepler to do this, I mean, the guy's playing on a team that's going to score runs, right? You're in a ballpark that you're going to hit home runs regardless, right? Citizens Bank is a home run haven for somebody. Look at Schwarber, 50-something home runs this past year. I mean, come on. You don't need steroids if you're playing in Citizens Bank. If you need steroids there, you shouldn't be in the majors. How's that?
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So there's one free agent who is not going to get signed for a while. Maybe, like you said, Colorado, something like that makes sense. But just another stupid move because you're going to get paid way less also. So now you're going to have to settle for less money. It's just stupid. But anyway, all right, we're running out of time, Chris. Do you have anything else you want to say before I announce the schedule and what's going on with us?
No, just listen, this was a lot of fun. We had a bunch of people. We had our usual coming in, chatting with us. And just remember, if you're on YouTube, hit that like and that subscribe button. This way you'll get notified because Rob's going to let us know who's coming on the show. You're going to really like some of these guests that we got coming up, and we're working on other guests to come on the show. So hopefully we'll get them on soon, but thank you as always.
Yeah, we definitely have a list of coming through. That's why before, when I was doing the show, I was actually testing with someone when I got a little tongue-tied before. So we got a couple announcements coming up. But the ones I could announce now, first, next week's schedule. Monday, we're going to be here our usual time, 3 p.m., but we're not going to have an evening show next week. We're going to have a Thursday show at 3 p.m. also. So we're not going to be on next Friday night. We're going to be on Monday at 3 and Thursday at 3. Then the following week after that, we will have the regular Monday at 3. And then we have a special guest on Friday, the 23rd. We will have former Mets pitcher Pete Falcone's going to come on. He has a new book that he's working on, so he's going to come on that Friday night, and he's going to talk about his time with the Mets. He also played for the Braves, a couple other teams, and he's going to talk about his book. So that's going to be very interesting. It's always great when we get former players coming on, Chris, because they have the best stories. As you know, if you guys didn't see John on Monday, he had a great story about pitching to Hank Aaron and to Schmidt, and you guys got to check out that show.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's also on all the podcast channels. You can even listen to it. If you don't want to watch us on YouTube, you can definitely check them out there. Also, remember the code up there in the corner is a link directly to John's book for both books. Just check them out. They're both on Amazon. If you want to purchase them, just go right there. You could get them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, listen, John D'Acquisto is, he's a great guest, great friend of the show. So we'd love it if people support him. Anyway, we will see you guys Monday at 3 p.m. So have an excellent weekend. We'll catch you then.